In this video, we will discuss rational numbers. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as one of the following ways: a positive fraction, a negative fraction, and 0. Note, the numerator is an integer, and the denominator is any integer except 0. Here are some rational numbers on the number line. There is an infinite number of rational numbers between any two rational numbers. These are just some examples of rational numbers. All of the integers are also rational numbers. We can write any integer as a fraction, so therefore it is a rational number, by putting a 1 in the denominator. So for any integer, you can write it as a fraction with a 1 in the denominator. Remember, the fraction bar means divided by. So a divided by 1 is equal to a. Rational numbers and 0. When you have a 0 as part of the fraction, we need to be careful and interpret it properly. When we have 0 in the numerator, we can read it as 0 divided by a number. 0 divided by any number except 0 is equal to 0. So when 0 is in the numerator and a non-zero number is in the denominator, the answer is 0. And 0 is a rational number. When we have a fraction with 0 in the denominator, that fraction is not rational, and therefore we say it is undefined. A number divided by 0 is undefined. So n over 0 as a fraction is undefined. Which of the following is not a rational number? When we look at 5 over 6, we have an integer over an integer, so therefore it is a rational number. Here we have 1 over 4, and that number is negative, and therefore this is a rational number. 9 can be written as 9 over 1, so this is also a rational number. 0 over 2 is equal to 0, and this is also a rational number. But as we learned in the last slide, 3 over 0, when 0 is in the denominator, this is undefined, and therefore this is not a rational number. So not a rational number is anything with a 0 in the denominator. Negative 8 can be written as negative 8 over 1. Therefore, this is also a rational number. Simplify. When we simplify rational numbers, we are dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. We want to divide the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor of 28 and 12 is 4. So to simplify this, I'm going to take the numerator and denominator and divide it by 4. Negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 7, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the simplified answer for this rational number is negative 7 over 3. To simplify negative 70 over negative 45, we will divide the numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor of 70 and 45 is 5. So we will divide the numerator by 5 and the denominator by 5. Negative 70 divided by 5 is negative 14. And negative 45 divided by 5 is negative 9. When we have a fraction, the fraction bar symbolizes division. When we divide a negative divided by a negative, we get a positive number. So we want to simplify a negative over a negative as a positive. So the simplification of this problem is 14 over 9. To simplify 0 over 6, we remember that the fraction bar means division. So 0 over 6 is 0.